Hey, Brent Hull for Old House Journal. Going to show you today a trick about how to cut molding joints, okay? Base molding in this case, in your house, if your walls are out of square, how to get around that with a cool trick. All right, so guys, let's say you're running base mold in your house, right? You've had to take it off, you're putting back in something hopefully that's very appropriate to your house, and you've been cutting miter joints, and you've got your corner here, and either because the floor is out of square or something, you've got a joint in the back, or worst case, it opens up and you've got your joint opens up like this. Now, the problem with the miter joint is that it is actually going to be open to the room, okay? And so if I'm standing in the middle of the room, I'm going to be able to see this joint, right? And so unless you're going to start playing around with cutting different angles and measuring different angles and all these other things, you can go through a lot of work that way. Let me show you a trick. It's called a cope joint, and it's going to be a quick, easy way of solving this problem. So the first thing to do is we have to open the joint. In order to make that cope of this profile, which is what we're doing, we're taking this profile and coping over it, right? We actually have to open it up. So we've cut this angle here on this board. Here's what's called a coping saw. Wonder why it's called that. So the coping saw is something that you can buy. This is an Irwin saw. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut in a few places. This will help. What I'm actually doing is I'm actually cutting at an angle, and that angle should be back like this so that there will be no wood that is touching my board when it comes and copes in. So now I'm going to cut across the whole. And I'm just following that line, right? Now the other thing you can do, and you can take this coping saw, and if you want to do it a little bit faster, there's what's called a Collins coping foot. And it's on my Bosch saw here, and I can actually come in here. Because he developed this foot, I can actually have a foot that I can run across here and do all my cuts. Right? Now, what I'm going to do next is I've got some Nicholson files. Now Nicholson, these are great files. A lot of files you buy today don't have good teeth on them, okay? So I've got a 49 and a 50. And this 49, I'll come back in here and just cut out, okay? Right, and I'm just getting a very fine detail to that line, and I'm coming back in here and I'll barely just touch this, right? So that gets real fine. And I'll come along here and I'll hit all this edge. But I can leave a lot of wood. What I've done here is I basically cut along this face, right? And I've taken my files and I've come in here and very carefully I have sanded and filed these points back. And you'll see what I've done here on the back side of the board is I've cut an angle away, right? I've cut that back so that when it sits down on top of this board, nothing's going to get in its way, right? And so it's going to sit down right over top of that joint, right? And really be hidden. So the trick to this joint is open up the face of the joint and then back cutting far enough behind here so that none of these pieces hit your board. I like this because you don't have to cut as many joints, right? I can do a straight cut corner to corner, corner to corner, and then I'm only cutting 4 instead of 8 joints, right? And then my cope will come in here and just sit right on top of this board. So it's a great trick. Let me show you how it looks. Okay, so now I've cut my cope joint. Now the great thing about that is I don't have to do anything to this other board, and I can just butt joint it right into the corner. But now that I've cut my cope, right, I've got this pretty cope, this is gonna sit right over top of that. And now, no matter whether my wall's out of square, right, the only way I can actually see whether there's any cracks or anything, I have to get way over here against the wall. Anything out in the middle of the room or over here, and this joint is invisible. This is great for crown, this is great for getting around rooms that are out of square. A cope joint is your fix. Hey guys, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Hull Millwork, Hull Homes. A lot of behind the scenes things that we're doing there to make you a better old house owner. I'm Brent Hull, thanks for watching.